Hello viewers. Welcome to Seek Wisdom. First of all, we would like to thank you for playing out this video. Today, we present you the summary of the book, Veronika Decides to Die, written by Paulo Coelho. This novel about a young woman who, after attempting suicide, finds herself in a mental institution where she discovers the true meaning of life. Through her journey, the book explores themes of freedom, madness, love, and the courage to live authentically. This video consists of 3 parts. Starting with the plot of the book, followed by inspirational quotes from book and then lessons learned from the book. We hope you like it. Let's get started. The novel opens in Ljubljana, the capital of Slovenia, in the late 1990s at a moment of transition after the fall of communism. The country itself is in a phase of searching for identity, mirroring the characters' struggles for meaning in their own lives. Here author introduces Veronika, a beautiful 24-year-old woman who appears to have everything: youth, good looks, a stable job, and opportunities many others might envy. And yet, Veronika feels empty. She looks at life as a repetition of routine, a mechanical existence where nothing surprises her anymore. She has lived what she believes is an ordinary life, and she sees no point in continuing. She feels neither deep joy nor unbearable suffering, only a bland existence that she interprets as meaningless. With this mindset, Veronika makes a radical decision: she will end her life. On a seemingly normal day, Veronika swallows a large number of sleeping pills. She expects a quiet, peaceful death. However, in her last moments before losing consciousness, she experiences a mixture of contradictory feelings: calmness, relief, and even a flicker of regret. But Veronika does not die. Instead, she wakes up in a strange place, Villette, a mental hospital. The staff informs her that she was found in time and revived, but the overdose severely damaged her heart. She is now left with only a few days to live. Rather than bring comfort, this knowledge initially shocks her. Her attempt at escape has failed, and now she is forced to face the consequences. Villette is not just a hospital, it is a microcosm of society. Inside, the patients seem free to express behaviors that would be suppressed in the outside world. Some are mad by clinical definitions, others are there by choice, seeking refuge from societal pressures. In Villette, Veronika meets a range of people who challenge her understanding of life and madness. First was Zedka, a woman suffering from depression, whose condition is treated by inducing insulin-based comas. Zedka is intelligent, articulate, and insightful, and she provides Veronika with perspective on how so-called madness can actually be a path to freedom. Next was Marie, a successful lawyer who had a panic attack one day and never recovered from the fear of having another. Unable to handle the pressure of her old life, she retreated into Villette. Another one was Edouard, a young man diagnosed with schizophrenia, withdrawn from the world. Edouard is the son of a wealthy diplomat and had once been an artist with a promising future. He becomes central to Veronika's journey. These characters embody different ways of responding to societal expectations, and each will help Veronika confront her own despair. When the Dr. Igor, tells Veronika that her heart is irreparably damaged and she has only a few days to live, she initially accepts it with fatalistic calm. She believes her wish for death is being fulfilled indirectly. However, the knowledge that her time is limited slowly begins to transform her perception. For the first time, Veronika begins to notice small details such as the beauty of a sunrise, the thrill of playing a piano, the intensity of emotion she had long suppressed. Veronika is drawn to Edouard. Though he barely speaks, but listens attentively, his presence calm and magnetic. She begins to play the piano in the hospital's music room, and Edouard becomes her silent audience. Music unlocks something inside both of them, her repressed vitality and his dormant passion. Gradually, Edouard responds more. He smiles, he watches her intently, and finally, he begins to engage. Through their interaction, Veronika discovers desire, courage, and love. Her attraction to Edouard awakens a side of her that she had denied. She feels alive precisely because she knows her time is short. Dr. Igor tells Veronika that society imposes rigid norms of normality, but in doing so, it often suffocates individuality. Many people in Villette are not clinically insane, they are there because they rejected or could not bear the weight of conformity. Veronika herself begins to see madness not as something shameful, but as freedom from meaningless repetition. Zedka explains that once you step outside norms, you see how artificial they really are. Marie describes how her panic attacks were the price of living under constant pressure to succeed. Edouard, too, embodies the cost of defying family and cultural expectations. In this environment, Veronika realizes she doesn't need to live by society's definitions anymore. She can live authentically, even if only for a few days. As Veronika embraces her impending death, she paradoxically discovers more passion for life. She begins to act without fear of consequences. She plays the piano freely, expresses her feelings openly, and allows herself to fall in love with Edouard. One of the most powerful scenes is when Veronika plays music with raw emotion, pouring her soul into the keys. For Edouard, this breaks through the walls of his schizophrenia, reconnecting him to the world and his artistic spirit. Her rebellion against fear liberates both herself and Edouard. Unbeknownst to Veronika, Dr. Igor has been conducting an experiment in vitriol, a metaphor he uses to describe bitterness and resentment, which he believes is the true cause of many mental illnesses. He deliberately told Veronika that her heart was irreparably damaged, though in reality she is physically fine. He wanted to observe what happens when a person believes they are close to death. Would they despair, or would they awaken to the value of life? Veronika, through her transformation, becomes the success story of this experiment. Her realization that life is worth living, even in the face of death, proves Dr. Igor's theory that people can overcome existential emptiness when confronted with mortality. As her supposed final days draw near, Veronika and Edouard's bond deepens. Edouard regains clarity and begins to live more fully, inspired by her courage. Together, they decide to escape the confines of Villette and spend Veronika's last hours in freedom. They leave the hospital and venture into the world outside, walking through nature, rediscovering the beauty of existence. For Veronika, every sight and sensation feels new, amplified by the awareness that it may be her last. They share intimacy, love, and a deep connection. This culmination of her journey is the fulfillment of the novel's central paradox: by preparing for death, Veronika has learned to live. The novel ends ambiguously yet hopefully. Veronika wakes up after a night with Edouard, expecting that her heart might stop at any moment. Instead, she feels alive. She doesn't know when death will come, but instead of fear, she feels gratitude for the gift of life. The truth, that her heart is healthy and she has been given a second chance, is unknown to her, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that she has learned to embrace life authentically, without fear, without the need for approval, without repression. Edouard, too, is transformed, stepping out of his withdrawn state into renewed purpose. Thus, the story closes with Veronika not dying, but finally deciding to live. Here are some inspirational quotes from the novel. On life and death. When I had nothing to lose, I had everything. When I stopped being who I am, I found myself. The fear of death is worse than death itself. On madness and freedom. Be crazy. But learn how to be crazy without being the center of attention. Be brave enough to live differently. You have two choices: to control your mind or to let your mind control you. On love and living authentically. Love is an act of faith, not an exchange. The great craziness of men is that they are afraid of love. On self-discovery. The danger of an adventure is worth 1,000 days of ease and comfort. You have to take risks. We will only understand the miracle of life fully when we allow the unexpected to happen. The great blessing of life is that we are never alone. There are always people who understand, if only we take the trouble to find them. Coming to the lessons learned from this novel. Paulo Coelho's novel teaches profound lessons about life, freedom, and authenticity. The most important message is that the awareness of death can awaken a true appreciation for life. the book reminds us not to postpone living fully. Another lesson is the value of embracing individuality. Society often defines a normality through conformity, but Coelho suggests that madness can be freedom, the courage to live differently, to follow one's desires, and to reject expectations. The patients in Villette show that stepping outside social rules may actually lead to authenticity and peace. The novel also highlights the power of love and human connection. Through her bond with Edouard, Veronika rediscovers passion, vulnerability, and the will to live. Love is shown as a transformative force that can heal even deep despair. Finally, the story encourages us to overcome fear of judgment, failure, or death itself. Life becomes meaningful only when we accept uncertainty and choose to live boldly. In short, the novel inspires us to cherish life, embrace uniqueness, and live with courage. Here we shall wind up the video. If you like this video, hit a like and share it with your friends. We shall be back soon with another video. Till then, be happy, be safe.